regulations for the monitoring of all the building plans. But there's a lot of slip behind who's responsible for this and who's got to do that and everything like that. So we're bringing in the bylaw to make it quite simple and also to streamline the sense of who's responsible for what. Okay. The biggest bones of contention is obviously they ask us why certain things have to be on. And the entire building regulation is around safety, first of all, and uniformity. Because in all of the situations, we have to protect everybody's rights. Because, especially for example, if you're living in a high value area, for example, Heather Park, those areas, you can't just do as you please. But if you do, there have to be consequences and there has to be regulations as to what's happening. And the questions are going around, for example, the structures, the temporary structures, and not so much the permanent structures, it's more about the temporary structures, because people are saying, it mentions something about all structures, temporary or permanent, which are put on the property. And I'm going to just read that quickly for you. But before I do that, I want to ask you, what are the questions you have before I go to preempt everything? Are there any questions that you have that you'd like to answer before I do anything?
Sean, you know, people are talking and they're talking like a kennel or a greenhouse. Okay. What's the thing?
Okay.
We just want the right information.
Okay. A structure, in my mind, and I've spoken to them, okay, is anything that is, even though it's temporary, okay, cannot be moved in a matter of, like this table, all right? So in other words, a Wendy house, a water tank, which is going to be parked everywhere, not a dog kennel. All right. When they talk about animal structures, structures for an animal, what we're trying to prevent is we have a lot of people having, for example, pigeon lofts. They're not structures. They're not a little hooky which you can move from one place to the other. It's a proper structure with 150 pigeons. Why are we regulating? Because now the guy goes and puts it on your boundary wall, all right? And on the other side of your boundary wall is your bedroom. And every morning and every night, you hear kurr, 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 or you've got rats, or you've got whatever, okay? If the Bible is not there, what are you going to do? Nothing. You can't do a thing about it. Or you can. You can try and take it to the Lord. They're going to say to you, but what am I going to do about it? Okay? So that is the type of structure. If you're going to, for example, and this is now very extreme, you want to divide your garden and put in scarpcraft. I'm using it. You laugh. I come from Zimbabwe. I've had pig stalls in the back of the garden. Okay? We are basically saying that we're trying to give you away. Your rights and my rights are all protected. A jungle gym. We're not talking about the little kiddies jungle gym which you put together and you can take it apart and you put it away tonight. But if you happen to put in a gladiator jungle gym, which is literally, it's a temporary thing, I mean it's not planted, but it's got this massive structure and it's got a platform and your child sits on the top and he happens to look inside my bedroom. Is that fair to me? Is it? It's not fair. Okay, can I tell you what? Can I say hoekom moet jy betaal? Die ding is, I'm going to only end it. That's what I'm going to say. You don't have to have an architect. Listen to what I'm saying. You don't need an architect to put it on the plan. You need to inform the municipality that you are putting it on there, all right? They will give you, because bearing in mind, they know what the properties are like. They know where the infrastructure is and they know everything about your property. If you're going to put a 10,000 litre water tank next to your property, and it happens to be on top of the sewage line, let's use it for infrastructure, you don't know where the infrastructure is. So we're dealing with people who don't give a damn about anything but the money. So you say to him, I want this Rachtenberg was bowling last week. He goes there, he doesn't put a platform down, he just shoves the water thing there. Right? He puts a 10,000 water tank up there, and in 5 years' time, the ground starts moving, and your water tank does this, and it bursts. Okay? And your neighbor, because your wall between your neighbor and you is this wide between the water tank, and it destroys that wall. You put in a claim against insurance. What's the first thing they're going to say to you? Where's your plan? Where's your plan? Oops. I don't have one. Then you have to take it out of your pocket. The same applies with solar. Everyone says to me, solar panels. Why must I pay for solar panels? Simple. Again, we have scrupulous people in this world. I can't afford to pay for the most expensive installer. Okay, so I'm going to do it myself. And I go and I buy these beautiful solar panels, and I climb on my wall, and it says, clip it on here, clip it on there. I've got solar panels on my roof. But your structure wasn't built for 120 kilogram solar panel. And the first wind that comes up, or let's put it this way, your beams on your house aren't strong enough to take 120 kilograms times 12, and your whole roof collapses. And it happens to collapse on your family. Whose fault is it? Yours. So all the municipalities, and they're not saying you're paying thousands here. There's nowhere in this bylaw that says any amount of money. It's between 200 and 2,000 rand. Okay. Obviously, the bigger the structure, the bigger the amount. Okay. But I have to ask the question: is your peace of mind? Now, don't do it. Nobody's going to police it. I've had comments with, and I'm sorry, this is exactly the comment. Go police it in Timberlake first, and then you can bring it into town. Okay? The fact remains that you want to sell your house. Okay? You will not get your house document transferred until everything that is on that property is on the plan.
Okay, so so gesê, right, dan sit ek die solar panels my toe ding op. Dan moet ek mos altyd betaal whatever, die fees en so aan. Maar as hy dan nou collectors van wie betaal dan?
Nee, maar meneer, kom ek sê nou vir jou. What happens is, they go out and they inspect your house. You can now put it...
The municipality?
Yes. Okay? That is their job. That is what you're paying for. You're not paying just for the fact that you're putting on your document. The building inspector has to go and approve it.
Before you put the solar panels on?
No, not only that, he looks at your drawing, he inspects your property, your house, and he says, okay, fine, the structure of your house allows for the panels to go in.
Yeah.
He goes and looks at your house and he says, hold on a second here, you have got asbestos roof. You've got a problem. Okay? You first need to do this, this, and this because it's asbestos. You can't use this guy. You first, he gives you all the rules and regulations. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what you're paying for. It's basically an administration fee to give you the peace of mind.
And you go to the insurance as well and say, right, the municipality was there and they inspect everything, say you can put on 6 panels or whatever.
Correct. So now, when you put on the insurance company, they say to you, thank you very much, it's been inspected and there's it done. If it's not on your plans, and you got an insurance, I had solar panels, where is it on your plans? Your roof is full. It was an illegal structure. The roof, the wall was blown down by a water tank. It was an illegal structure. The argument about a swimming pool pump, same argument. It's a noisy machine. You're going to put a swimming pool in, you're going to put a pump in, you're going to put it where you want it. It's the least noise to you. Okay? It's going to be mounted. But now I've got to listen to your damn pool pump every day. What's it happen? It's small little things like that. And the same applies to a borehole. Why should you pay for a borehole to put on your planet? I'll tell you why. Because when you get your little water diviner and he comes onto your property and those little sticks goes, water's here, he doesn't know what's underneath that ground. And he might be divining the water pipes going through your property. So when they come through and they drill the hole to 3 meters and he strikes gold, it might not be the borehole, it might be the infrastructure. Then you're sitting with net worth. So it's not about a money-making thing. If you want to make money, there's a lot easier ways of making money. And I've always said, and it's been said by the municipality, and I'm going to say it again, I would rather have a bylaw in place and it never gets policed, and I never have to use it, than have nothing in place, and the day I need it, it's not there. Do you agree with me? Because I have found in the last few years, that is why I'm so pedantic about it. I thank myself every day for living in George. Because if there's a problem, I can phone the law enforcement because there's a bylaw that covers it. If I get knocked over by a dog that's off a lead, there's a bylaw that covers it. Yes, sir.
Een van die groot probleme is soms die hoër liggende perseel stort sy stolwater op die laer liggende perseel. Wat sê bylaw oor dit?
Okay, the bylaw says, okay, bearing in mind this is a building registration, the lower property must take the water from the higher property. You may not have your property to stop the water from coming through. That's the national law, it's everywhere. You cannot decide that, unfortunately, that's when you buy your, these are the things that you have to think about before you buy the property. I'm unfortunately one of those stupid people that bought a property which is right smack bang and in 4 sides that all comes into my property. There's nothing I can do about it. Unfortunately, that's the layout of the day. Okay? But there are ways of dealing with it, and they do have structures and all sorts of stormwater pipes that go and that sort of, but unfortunately you cannot. I've seen it happen, and you will be forced to take that level down where it was originally.
Dis alles korrek wat jy nou gesê het, maar in die normale praktyk is die water gewoonlik gesentreer na sekere punte. Dit is net so.
Ja.
Nou, die punt is, die afvoer van daardie punt van die magazijn dat die hoër liggende perseel tot by die punt waar die stolwater ontvang kan word, het sy in die straat op by die pipeline. Wie se verantwoordelikheid is dit?
Op jou eie is dit jou verantwoordelikheid.
Die hoër liggende? Hy die kanaal voorsien?
Soos in my geval, I'm in the lower lying area, my neighbour's below me. If he blocks my water, he's at fault. Okay? The municipality, because remember, the municipality has absolutely no legislation on private property apart from giving you a warning for changing the channel of the water. That's all they can do. They can give you a fine for change. They can't change the channel. Okay? But you, no matter what happens, you are responsible for taking the low water.
Al is gesentreerd.
Even if it's central, that is my problem at the moment. My property goes literally from 4 sides and the road is higher than my house. My neighbour also does that. So there's a dip in it. There's nothing you can do about it. we have to build a furrow. Okay. The other thing also in the building regulation is you cannot alter the natural flow of water. In other words, you cannot put your gutters and direct them into your next door neighbor's property.
Ja, maar dit is wat gebeurt.
Ja, natuurlijk.
Die hoort doen.
No, you can't, but this is right. The gutter must go down, but you can't put a pipe and force it deliberately into the property.
In die praktijk moet het gebeuren als je een andere optie.
Ja, je kan niet een furrow, you can't build a furrow and say it can go in there. It must follow the natural. In other words, you can't. Everybody does that. But the fact remains, but this is what I'm saying to you. It happens, and people are doing it. But if you do it and your neighbor complains, okay, you are breaking the bylaw because you are forcing all the water from your roof onto his property. That's not natural water. That is storm water from your roof. Okay. Well, nothing. It's a pity. Well, I'm sorry for the low-lying person because he gets everything. Okay. Are we happy with that, guys?
Just last question about the cost. Let's assume the solar panel situation and the cost is paid to municipality. Does that include putting it onto the plan at the municipality?
That is part of the plan. Look, there's documentation that you have to fill in. You have to apply for it, okay? And on there. No, you don't expect. It's basically, I have a swimming pool put in. So what you do is you say, I want to swim, you fill in the documentation, you say, let's buy a swimming pool. I want to have it put approximately 5 meters from the house, 4 meters from the wall, and they basically say, this is it there. All they want to do is to make sure that you're not imposing on your neighbors and you're not going to strike their stuff at the end of the day. They don't force you to go to architects and stuff like that. There's nothing in the bylaw that says you have to go to an architect for approval.
En de water tegen de solar, de wind is en alle typen nou.
Exactly. You just need permission, that's all it is.
Yeah.
The other thing is, okay, and when we say temporary structures, it includes a tent, okay, that is going to be put up semi-permanently. Any structure where you're going to put people in to live has to be on the plan.
Ja, maar dan moet ik wel meneer al doen. Het is niet als wij...
No, but this is like I said, if you construct a tent, and I'm telling you now there are some people that have done it. Yeah, you construct it and you put people in a permanent, temporary structure with a permanent residence. That has to be on the plans. Because you can't bypass the bylaw by saying, well, it's a caravan, they're living in there permanently. Or it's a tent. Any temporary or permanent structure with you, it's your dwelling, permanent dwelling, has to be on the plans. Okay.
Soms wat ik gezegd, ik nou wende is, wat ik nou 23 jaar daar. Zo antwoorden. Al blijf iemand hier, zet het maar hier.
It's not backwards.
Not back.
But the day you're going to sell the house, remember, then it'll have to be on the plans. Remember, and this is why I'm getting it right now. The municipality has made it quite clear. The bylaw from the day that it is promulgated. They're not going to go out there and say, well, your wedding house has been up here for 20 years and now it's a bit. Okay. Day you sell the house, everybody must know. Doesn't matter where the house was put up, when people was put in, when the tank went in, it's going to have to be on the plans. Okay. So, is there anything further you'd like to know about the building plan? Are we happy? Does it make sense to you now? Okay. I'm glad because the number of complaints I've had for the last, and I can't understand why. Because it's really rocket science. Because somebody said we had plans for a jumping. I think there was someone really. Do we really have to go that way? Do I need plans for an umbrella that wants to go? you know, it's basically what it means is that for any rational, constructive thing where you might influence another person's life as well as your own. The other thing is they say to us, for example, a satellite dish. Okay. Why should I have a satellite dish? And I'm going to tell you why. Because now your signal in your house is 8 swap. Okay? You've got a block of flats next to you. So what do? You go put up a pole, 15 feet, poof. And here's this massive big satellite dish. Poof. Okay? Do I want to look in your satellite dish every day of my life? I don't. You need to get yourself. Thus, if we have the satellite dish comes off, it weighs maybe 20, 30 kilograms, and it happens to go through my lounge window and end up on legs or something like that, who's going to be responsible for that? It's about taking responsibility and uniformity. Responsibility, that's all it is. Put it up, make sure it doesn't impede anybody else's life. That's all. Simple. Or you get a guy that puts up a radio hand, radio antenna. Every night you sort of watch the TV and it talks on the radio. Hello? Yes, sir.
Spiritjie bou regulasies enigstens sinlikheid op die erf. Ou motorbak.
Me, there is another bylaw which has come out now. Your responsibility to keeping your property clean.
Thank you.
Okay? There are 29 bylaws. If I wanted to go through, well, I'm going through the most important ones as I see them. And if you have any questions regarding the bylaws, please ask me. Okay? The other bylaw which I find is very important for me at this stage of the game, especially in George, because of the simple reason we live in an open society, in an open business sector. And yet, we have a society where everyone's blaming alcohol for all the problems. Okay? And since COVID, George is the only town in the Western Cape which has bottle stores which are closed on a Sunday. And my personal view on that is that we're actually promoting illegal alcohol sales. Because simple fact, the Shabeens and everybody else that is selling alcohol is now got the opportunity to push the prices sky high, because the person who wants to have a party on a Sunday or have a drink on a Sunday and has nothing in his house, he's going to make a plan. Okay? At the same token, we're actually saying to the residents of George, you can't drink in the safety of your house. We'd rather you go and get plastered at a pub which is open on a Sunday, or a restaurant which is open on a Sunday, or drive to Sedgefield on a Sunday, or Brugge, and then drive home in that condition, rather than go to a bottle store, buy your alcohol, and come home and have your party in peace of your own. So I'm asking the residents of George to back me in saying that, let's be fair. If you want to buy alcohol on a Sunday and you have a business that is legal and legitimate as a bottle store, why can't you then be open on a Sunday? Are there any views on that? Do we all agree on that?
Zondags rustig, net geweest die man gaan vast gaan pakken. Nou jij zondag zit een trap.
Well, let me put it to you like this.
Dan kom je mensen dinsdag bij de waken.
Well, if you want to drink, you're going to get drunk.
Yeah.
Whether it's at home or whether it's flipping whatever, you're going to find a bottle. Very focused. But the fact is, why are we sending money to Sedgefield and to illegal bottle stores when we've got people that are paying our rates and taxes and paying towards the municipality, and they're not allowed to open on a Sunday, but people can actually earn some money for it? That's my viewpoint. Okay.
So, what was the main point of closing by the edits?
The reason for it was, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was religious objection. That's all.
History.
Sorry?
It was history too.
Yeah. All that. But the main thing was historically it was a religious objection to opening on Sundays. But if you think back, in the past, South Africa was closed on a Sunday. Everything was closed. There was no business on a Sunday. Okay? And the only thing that's remained there in George is the bottle stores. You can do anything you want on a public holiday, except go and buy alcohol. Okay? So I can take it to council and say that we all agree with that.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yes.
You happy?
Don't take my opinion, don't agree mine.
Okay, fine. All right. Are there any of the other bylaws? Because it looks like my 500 people are going to be very late.
Are there bylaws that regulate a wind turbine?
No, because we don't have wind turbines. That would go probably with wind turbine to go with building construction. With your, are you looking for the electricity?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a completely that is to do with your electricity. Okay. We have opted for the solar system. What we're also looking at the moment is using possibly the old dam for hydroelectricity to get past the load shedding situation. But I can say with pride that George and our electrotechnical directive is leading the way in renewable energy in South Africa. We have won numerous awards already for how much work we're doing on renewable energy, so I'm proud of that. But I don't think, to be quite honest with you, yes, we have a few wind turbines closer down, but for us, we've opted for solar option first of all, and there are other options that we're looking at the moment, which I can't really, I'm not going to elaborate on because I don't know enough about that. There's also another option that has come out, and we don't know how feasible it is yet, but we're looking at it. It's hydro, I don't know the correct terminology, but where it's actually using the tide. The movement of the tide to generate electricity, which is completely green. And that's something that is, because of the amount of movement in our ocean, and it's completely eco-friendly and all that, and that's possibly, and that can generate quite a few megawatts and gigawatts of electricity. So we're constantly looking at new ways of doing the electricity. And the last one that I would like to bring up, which is something that is very close to me, is the keeping of animals. And also dogs being loose out of things. I know that this is a very big bone of contention, but the bylaws are being far too lax at the moment. And with all the cases of children being bitten by vicious dogs and that sort of stuff, there has been a recommendation by numerous individuals that at age is actually making a note of a certain height may be allowed off a lead at any time while in the public. Because a lot of people are going into public spaces where there's nobody else, and because they think there's nobody else, then they let the dogs off the lead. And before they go around the corner and there's somebody there. The favorite saying is, don't worry, my dog doesn't bite. But my dog does. So we're having a look at that one as well. All right. And that is basically my side of the story.
John, sorry, I was late.
No, that's fine.
I just want to find out this. What is the exact law? Maybe you already spoken about it, but I see we the late ones. Maybe there's more coming. I don't know. They will ask you the same about the water tanks.
Okay, I did mention it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, they brought in because there was a drought. There wasn't enough water.
Okay.
So George Municipality suggested to people to please install tanks.
Okay.
So that it could help with the drought. Now there's stories that people are going to pay for your tanks and everything.
Okay, let me put it to you like this. If you've already got your water tank there, so be it. Okay? It's not going to be retrospective. Do you understand where I'm going? If the Bible comes in, development, new whatever is going to have to be on the plans. Alright. The reason why, and I did have a long discussion regarding this, The reason being, please bear with me, if you do as you please with water tank, and let's say, for example, you have a 10,000 or a 5,000 litre water tank, and you just plonk this thing down wherever you feel like doing it, and the ground moves and that thing explodes, which is what's happened. This is or turn over, or whatever, okay? And you haven't got it on your plan, and you damage the next door neighbor's property or your own, I can tell you now, your insurance company is going to say, not my fault. And the reason being, the whole reason, and this, we had a long discussion before you came in. Every single thing in the bylaw is already in the national regulation. The only reason why we're putting it into the bylaw is that we have the same standard across the board.
That's my question.
Okay, now hold on a second. I know where you're going with this, okay? And don't, and I'm sorry if I say this very crudely. Okay? The problem is, if you're not going to moan about it in George South, okay, that's fine. If your neighbor puts up a tank and you're happy with that, it's not going to be, the police aren't going to be around your case every day. And I've heard the argument. Do it in Timberlake and do it in Pakelsdorp itself, okay? But my fact is this, meneer. When the tank bursts in your house, or when the person puts the jungle gym next to your house, or when they put up the Wendy houses and 5 or 6 or 7 people live next to your house, in George South or in...
I understand that.
Okay.
That rules
So
out
what the result is...
But get my point with this, about the tanks.
Yeah.
If I put my tank here, it's on a plan, and it bursts, what's the difference?
The fact is that they're going to tell you it can go... Hold on a second. If you tell it's going to go there, the inspector is going to say to you, hold on a second, it can't go there for whatever reason. And he's going to give you an explanation.
No, I understand that, but I mean, if my plans get approved,
correct.
I can have my tank, I can have it here. There's nothing preventing that tank from bursting as well.
I know that, but what I'm saying to you is that it's on the plan, and the municipality is saying to you, but the ground is stable, in all new likeliness is the safest place to put it.
Okay, that I understand, but
so with the result, meneer, I buy a TV and I take it home and it pops.
It's the same like when you...
I understand.
I don't want to find out, I'm just...
No, but what I'm saying to you is...
We stay here in George South, it's close to town.
Yeah.
I got my dish maybe 2 meters above my roof to have proper reception. My neighbor's got this. I said, yeah, you know what? I'm turning around and I'm looking at the municipality one. I said, look at that one. It's 50 meters high with about 500 dishes on it. And that's not bothering me. Really, do we have to go pretty?
Meneer, let me put it like this. And I'm going to say exactly what I said to them before you...
If that blows off, it's going to take my whole house away.
Yeah.
If that thing goes,
but at least
you know,
there's
the
insurance.
signals going from that thing, you won't even be able to watch TV if they go G5.
But the fact remains, sir, if that thing goes, all right, all the insurance and everything's going to be there. The other fact of the matter is, and it's not being full of nonsense or anything like that. Tomorrow or the next day, and it's the same reason, and I'm going to say it straight out. They say to you, why don't I use the council chambers? It's fine while everything is hunky-dory. When you don't need it, it's bakgat. Maar die dag as die pop op die fanslag, nee, and that bylaw isn't there, your neighbor might not worry about your satellite dish that's 15 meters in the air. Nothing will happen. Nobody's going to complain about it. You and your neighbor have an argument. You might but the fact remains is, the day that thing goes through or then the pop is going to interfere. You say, but how did you install it? And then you're going to turn around and say, but it wasn't on the plans. Then your insurance is going to say, but anyway, all we're doing is sacrifice. We know about it. And yes, you can put it on your insurance. And hope you never have to use it. But the day you have to use it, I pay insurance every single month of my life. On my car. No, but I have, on my car, I have insurance. Okay? And in order to have my insurance, I need to make sure that my car is serviced, and it's this and it's that. There's certain things that I have to do. And it's the same as your house. If you put your solar panels up and you don't have it on your plans and your roof breaks in, it's not going to pay out. All we're saying is, if your neighbor gets... You didn't hear me talk about the jungle. All we're saying is, if it gets to be a problem for your neighbor, or for you for that matter, you have recourse. If it doesn't bother you, Doesn't bother half of the people. But the day it becomes a problem to you, hey, you're going to turn to me and say to me, Sean, I had a woman phone me yesterday, and I'll give you, this is a fact. I live in X. There's a nursery school behind me. Die kinders live baie die dinges bewe die hele dag. And my son rents out a flat to a woman who works from home. Okay? And she works all day from home. She can't talk on the telephone.
There's a lot of people these days with that excuse and they work from home.
Okay? Now, please close the creche.
No, you have to do the business. It's not a business.
No. Close the creche. Exactly. And this is what I'm saying to you. When the pauper hits the
rights and the school is illegal, then it's a different story.
That's what I'm saying. But as soon as the pauper hits the fan, then yeah, the person they come to is bad. Jy's my raad, jy's my guy. And then, but is it on the plan? Ek het vergeet om dit op te sit. Ek het die kans gehad, ek het nie dit. And then I've got to try and cover, and I can't.
I don't think
sometimes
it's not about they don't have time or they forgot or something. It's sometimes if you want to put something on plan, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot
200 rand.
More than maybe what you want to do. Or
Meneer,
then you're going to have to wait maybe
but now you speculate. Have you seen what on there it says 200 between 200 and 2,000 rand. Okay? All it will cost you is to go. Sorry, 200 rand. You're speculating. And this is what I'm saying to you.
Just asking.
Between 200 and 2,000 rand. And obviously the smaller the job, the less. Okay? But I ask you with tears in my blue eyes. 200 rand, but the day you sell your house.
No, for to get it on the plan is not a problem. But there was another story that you're going to
It's
pay
a story.
a monthly fee.
It's a story, meneer. Ek sê reg ek vir dis 'n storie. Jy betaal eenmalig en ek sê dit nou op video. Jy betaal eenmalig om die ding op jou ding te kry.
Op jou plan.
That's it. Dis nie elke maand nie. En die ou wat dit vir jou gesê het, nee, praat absoluut nonsens. En ek wil daai ou sien.
Ons ook.
But it's busy playing politics and it's playing mind games. You cannot pay a monthly fee. And do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, go and look on your rates and taxes account. Tell me what's on that rates and taxes account that you don't get. Okay. There is no such thing as paying a monthly fee for having a tank on your property.
Okay, that's fine.
Ek raak, sorry, ek is baie.
That's what.
But this is my point. People are talking nonsense. Okay? That's why I call this meeting. And you know what? It hurts me to find all those chairs empty because the people that are talking the nonsense aren't sitting here today.
I know, that's why we came, because we heard the story.
Because I said, how can you
And we
pay
need to know, we need clarity.
to get it on a plan? That makes sense.
It costs, the fact remains, okay? You don't have to do it now. Okay? Let's say, for example, you don't put it on the plan now. It's on the bylaw and you decide, to hell with it. The day you sell your house, I guarantee you, you will not get paid until it's on the plan.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
You're going to pay for it eventually, whether it's now or whether it's later. So why don't you just put it on the plan and get it finished with? But then if it's on the plan when you sell it, is it monthly? No. Die mense speel met mense se.
Yeah, I know, that's why we asked.
I will not talk nonsense.
Is there
to
like a
anyone.
limit on how many tanks people is allowed to have?
There hasn't been a limit on now. I can't say yes or no. Obviously, it's got to be within reason. You can't build yourself a little mini water reservoir with 15,000 tanks here. But obviously, no, I'm using
Well, I'm just asking because, I mean, a lot of people that I found and came across with that I have to do with, that sometimes people can't have like one big tank.
No, I understand
You
that.
know, like a 10,000, it's
No,
too
I
big.
understand.
Like you say, you're the neighbor and
I understand.
They put in, say, 2 or 3 smaller tanks. So there's not a limit.
I say one thing to everybody. Okay, I'm not the building planner. Okay, I talk to the builder, the planning department, and what I've done, and I've learned a very dear lesson. Think what you're going to do with your house, roughly. Okay. Now, let's get an idea. Okay. When I bought my house, I knew I was going to put in a swimming pool. I knew I was going to put in this and that. And you go to the plan and you say to them, what are the rules and regulations regarding this? What do I need? What do I need to do? And that sort of stuff. Can I put in 2 water tanks or 3 water tanks so that you've got an idea? Even if you come, he's not going to ask you to come out and look at the plan. Remember that. You're not just out there. All you have to say to him is, can you come and look? It's free. Do you mind coming to have a look and give me some advice? That is free.
Whom do you talk to about that?
You go up to the fourth floor and you go and ask the town planner and ask them to give you, if someone can come and just see you, and do a site visit. Tell them you're planning on changing your house, you want to do some alteration. Can somebody come and give you some sound advice? No, you don't have that.
There's no call out.
There's no call-out fee. You haven't bought the TV.
Well, I only bought my house 5 years back, and the tax that's there was there. So I basically didn't want that. But the woman that we bought it from was told me.
Yeah.
But before he sold the house to me,
Yeah.
there was a thing about that time, I don't know if you can remember about years back, where people could make anything on their plans, they
Yeah.
could take it for free,
Yeah.
and they did it.
Yeah.
So everything was that's there is on plan, except now the way the tags are standing.
Meneer, let me put it to you like this. We all know, okay? Everything is fine until it's not fine. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. Everything is fine, not fine. As long as you and your neighbor are getting on, no problem. But the day you pick up a problem with your neighbor,
Yeah.
you're going to start wishing.
Goes.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've covered everything. Are there any more questions?
So basically this thing we can tell the guys if they ask is just the why it must be on plan is because for health and safety reasons.
Exactly. Everything goes around your safety and their safety and obviously the safety of the infrastructure of George.
So
You
there's
can't
no-
drill a borehole.
There's no monthly fees and everything.
No, this is not telecom or fiber. You pay your monthly fees for your rates and taxes on your toilet and your refuse removal and your electricity. That's your monthly fee for putting a tank. Oh, right. But I think everybody here knows about it. I'm going to say this anyway. I've taken an initiative. We all know that crime is becoming a mass problem in South Africa. Okay. I'm going to use the opportunity to tell you that George decided that we are now going to have zero tolerance attitude towards crime, full stop. We can no longer allow to keep us inside our houses while they walk in our streets and do as they please. So what we did 2 months ago, I came up with an initiative called Citizen Watch, because according to the law, belonging to the CF means that you have to have a police patrol if you want to go and patrol. Okay. But having read the laws and the rules and everything like that, I am allowed to protect my property, and I am allowed to ask for help to protect my property. And as a citizen, I am allowed to enact a citizen's arrest if I personally see a crime being committed. So what we did is we started a WhatsApp group and we started using these. We currently have 130 in George South. And the bigger the network, or the stronger the network, the more radios in the network, the stronger the network becomes. Okay? And what this does is we're all sitting on the channel. There is no control room. Okay? We are the control room. And what I'm saying to the citizens of George South in Ward 28 is, we are in charge of our own safety. Emergencies regarding medical, regarding crime, regarding fire. We are the eyes and the ears of George. The good news is we've had 9 incidents already. We've been successful on 9. The only sad thing is that we've lost 1 life, which there was no way we could save it. It was a gentleman who passed away from a heart attack. But gladly I can say that the man didn't die alone. He died with one of our team next to him. And to me, that's a win. And I'm proud of that because it's something that's very dear to me. But yeah, this is something that everyone considers, and we're not giving them away. Okay,
You buy the radio because it's yours. You buy in to the club, if you want to call it that. Because by buying it, you take ownership. We don't talk on it, we don't have microphone for a practice, whatever. The only time we push button is when you see an emergency. A crime being committed in front of you, you call for backup. I went to the school this morning and I told the headmaster from Eden High, Eden Technical, that as of now, when the students come out of that fence, out of their gates, they're our property. If I catch them doing anything illegal, I will arrest them. They will take the consequences. There will be no more sex in the park, drugs in the park, and all that junk to catch up to. George South is going to turn a new leaf as far as what taking back the city goes. We deserve to be in the streets, not the criminals. Why must we go around and do as they please? So if you're interested in more people in the system, the better for us all, because this is the eyes and ears of everybody. All right. The mere 290 rand, what's off? No money fees. It's a lifetime fee, a life membership.
Don't have a plan.
And we don't have to have put on a plan. And the nice thing is, if you go to town, you put it in your pocket, the shops are actually buying it as well. So eventually, can you imagine, you walk into town, every single shop in town has a radio. Get robbed, you climb on the radio. I've just been robbed, my wife's hand's been taken. He's got green shirt, blue tackies, he's running down Hibernia Street. Oh, wait a second, I can see, wait a second, coming my way. Zup, kom hier so meneer. We caught a guy, we had a message on the radio in Hibernia Street. They stole 2 chairs. By the time they got to Kleinbegin, what is it, the cafe? Kleinbegin. Before they even got to Kleinbegin, both of them were arrested. The guy we arrested on Sunday, I've got to share this to you. I watched him climb over in the hostel. He comes out in cuffs. He says to me, "Jere meneer, jy wou oral te hoor. Het jy my gesien?" Ek sê vir hom, "Ja, ek het gesien foto's op."
There's 3 names.
Sorry?
There's 3 names we've mentioned.
I mean, but I'm standing here and I'm thinking, I said York, instead of saying York Hostel, I said York Street. But the fact is, within 4 minutes, the people were there. But he was arrested within 7 minutes. In cuffs. And we arrested him for malicious damage to property, crossing, theft, and suspected in possession of suspected stolen property. He is going to sit. Okay, that is it from me, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. Please share the message. If anyone tells you anything other than what I've told you here tonight, tell them, hierdie raad